Today in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin making a run 4.5% to the upside at $31,250, give or take, and Ethereum at right around that $1,700 mark, also up approximately 4.5%. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins are deep in the green. Look at Doge, Polkadot, Matic, ICP, and many, many more. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but I believe that we need to take a look at Bitcoin one more time before we move on to the look at the altcoin market, because if Bitcoin continues to move to the upside the way it is, we could see a definite pump in this price action. So you know what? Let's talk about the news, let's analyze the charts, and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate that strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to talk about on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below or hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin on a run, on a tear to the upside, guys, looking pretty good. To be honest, it is currently, basically exceeding my expectations. I didn't expect Bitcoin to be reaching this high of a level, but that's the name of the game, guys. Those expectations, a lot of the times they don't get met, and we just need to take it day by day and see what Bitcoin is up to. Currently, Bitcoin on the daily time frame still looking very strong. There's no real indication that Bitcoin is showing any sign of weakness. However, lower time frames might be showing us other aspects that we need to consider, just in case we are in some deep gains, just in case we potentially might get rejected, just in case. It's all a game of probability, and of course, all we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can, protect any gains, and that way we can call ourselves profitable. At the end of the day, we can look at the general market. Let's look at Ethereum. Ethereum looking like it's definitely grinding to the upside, following Bitcoin's lead. Pretty much toe-to-toe, 4.5% each. And if you look at the rest of the altcoin market, nice green price action. Look at Chainlink up 38.5% in the last 7 days, guys. If you were able to scale in at those bottoms, right now is the time to get defensive. I'm not saying that you should exit positions. What I'm saying is be prepared. Be prepared, because the volatility now to the downside becomes a lot more possible given the fact that it did make its move to the upside, okay? People will be looking for profit-taking opportunities. It is up 10.5%. Give or take in the last 24 hours, and almost 40% in the last 7 days. Chainlink is definitely one of the major movers in the last little while. So we got to make sure that we have plans going forward to shift into a different mindset. Polkadot up pretty good. A lot of these altcoins are doing very, very well. The overall market is nice and healthy. Really looking good. Like, there are some bigger movers. Look at Filecoin. I like Filecoin. You guys know that I like Filecoin. I have been quiet about Filecoin for the last little while. Why? Because Filecoin at the end of the day was in a good accumulation phase a while back, and I did my due diligence, and I already have a position in Filecoin. But right now it's up 13% in the last 7 days, which is healthy. Just 9 of it in the last 24 hours, of course, very, very healthy. Quant not doing much, although up 8% in 7 days, so that's pretty good. But overall today, not doing that much. The overall market is doing pretty good, 5 to 10% give or take, depending on the project. Look at Stacks, look at Injective, looking pretty good. Look at Immutable X, look at EGLD, Multiverse X, even Multiverse X doing really well. After the rebranding, it has been really stagnant, so I'm happy to see it wake up a little bit here. And if we keep on going, Phantom 10% to the upside, and I've been talking about Phantom, Thorchain, and the list goes on. 10%, 5 to 10% is probably the average here. Rollbit not doing much. You got to admit, it did its job already. It did a good move to the upside. It did retrace a little bit. It's been going up and down within the 20% range for so long. And Rollbit is doing its own thing as a new narrative, part of the gambling narrative. But nonetheless, guys, if we continue going down, You do see some good gainers. Look at Mina Protocol bouncing to those higher levels, 16.5% to the upside. Okay, this is great. Look at Radix, still going sideways. They could be a lagger. It could be waiting for its chance or its opportunity. So it could shift into a lot of the other, all of the other altcoins. The money flow does definitely flow around and shift around, and that could be an indication that maybe we're in an altcoin season. Is this possible? Are altcoins outperforming Bitcoin? That's something that I want to take a look at tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where I go live. Feel free to join, guys, tonight at 7:30. I'm gonna put the BTC dominance on the list, and of course, if you have any requests, that's a great time and place to make those requests so that we can come up with a plan, guys. And I'll definitely put your requests in top priority, so make sure you join me live tonight once again at 7:30 Eastern. Let's continue. What else do we have here? Few pops to the upside. Frac share looking okay, grinding, still grinding. Lots of these altcoins are doing very, very well, looking pretty good. CFX 6%, and generally speaking, right now, if you're an altcoin holder, you have some good gainers, some really good opportunities throughout the market. Now the question is this done? Did the majority of the move already happen? We're on Monday. Mondays, usually is a day where we see some real reactions in the market, and we definitely got a good reaction, a nice positive reaction. Last night, where we were talking about live, we were saying, the weekend is one of those times where, the order books are very thin, the price action is not trustworthy, so on and so forth. But guess what? Leading into Monday, continuation to the upside. So what do we say now, right now? What are we saying with regards to Bitcoin? What can we use? How can we use Bitcoin as an indicator for what's yet to come? All right, guys, I know you're here to want to talk about charts. Let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on here? Look at that nice green candle that we got today. Beautiful pop to the upside on the daily, looking really good. Very overbought right now. Very, very overbought, hitting that 80% mark on the RSI, almost as high as this previous impulsive move to the upside, which is, something that a lot of these bulls are looking for, of course. And the momentum on the MACD, look at this nice EMA cross, green histogram bars to the upside, still intact, looking pretty good. But what about lower time frames? Are we getting any indication that we could be potentially hitting a level of resistance and potentially rolling over? Let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Bitcoin, usually, guys, I don't cover Bitcoin that frequently. In fact, I've been, compelled to talk about Bitcoin a little bit more lately because, of course, it's on a move. And when it's on a move, 2 days ago, I talked about Bitcoin, and the reason being was because it was on a move. Then, of course, I did that deep dive. Guys, go check it out if you're interested in change finance. I think it's a good one to take a look at if you're interested in getting involved into the change finance project. Definitely a good video to kind of get you up to speed about fundamentals, the team, tokenomics, all that good stuff. Go check it out. But why am I covering Bitcoin so frequently? And I feel like this is the time to watch out for Bitcoin as a leading indication that maybe we might see some money be flowing into the crypto space. Now look at where we are right now. So if we play back the story, this was the time to go long with good risk to reward ratio opportunities. This green arrow, okay? And I made that very transparent on the Discord and here on the channel. If you roll back right around this time, this is where I was making those announcements. And on the Discord, I still have the charts from when I was saying this with my little notification saying, look, this XYZ is the reason why it's healthy to go long at this previous low. Now we're at previous highs, guys. So now do we have to shift? At previous lows, great risk to reward ratio. Our previous highs, risk to reward ratio. Again, guys, so we can potentially use the same theory, the same analogy to say, look, people are going to be looking for short positions right around this level. So be careful. Now, what are the indications that this might be the case? Well, what I don't like right off the bat, guys, is I don't like that the overall market is not giving us volume into this pump. Look at this pop to the upside, no volume, very stagnant volume, which means that's an indication of the overall consensus of the market. It is not there. I'm not getting that indication that the market is really interested in this price action, because volume is an indication that of the amount of market participants that are getting in on this price action. And as you can see, the volume is not there. However, guys, we are at previous highs. That is the time to expect people to be looking for healthy scenarios scenarios for shorting opportunities. Now, could we get a short squeeze, people going short, and then all of a sudden get that pop to the upside and continuation up? Very, very possible here, guys. It is so possible. It's not out of the question. However, let's look at some of these momentum indications to see what we can come up with. Look at the RSI right now. You can see that the RSI, I don't like this line, has to do with the 4-hour. Let's make this available visual. Where do I put this? Visual intervals. No, not all. Interval above, interval below. No, not current. Okay, so I'm going to go on to the 4-hour, and you can see why this is very important. Is this right here? So let's change the interval for only current interval, and then once we go back to the daily, you can see it's not there. Okay, this makes a lot more sense. Now, if you look at the overall scenario that's happening here, we are definitely testing these previous highs, and as we were coming up, the price action is definitely getting to overbought conditions. This is the time to start looking for potential resistance. You know my strategy. I like extreme levels. We are in the extreme zone for Bitcoin in overbought conditions above the 80% mark on the RSI, and the MACD is still looking too bullish to be true. So this is great. This is where the magic happens. Now, are we getting indications here that we're going to reverse? None on the daily. The daily still looking like it continue. Okay, and that's the reality. We're overbought. Fine, we're there. A lot of strength now for the bulls. EMAs are facing up. Green histogram bars to the upside. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Yet so far so good. Any volume here? A little bit of volume, but really nothing happening here in comparison to this level right here where we got the market really interested. Look at all this volume, and that's why we got all that pop. This is residual volume, and it could be that we make a higher high, and how high could we actually go? Let's kind of get rid of these momentum oscillators for a second and look at price action. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll look at Fibonacci for a second. And I'm very aware that as I contract this price action, this becomes very noisy. Let's try to ignore that noise for a second and do a swing high all the way from the top. Okay, all the way to the bottom, and look at the reality is we can hit a golden pocket extension level, right? Not extension, regular golden pocket retracement level, hitting 50K. It's very possible. Okay, let's be real. Let's talk about the bullish scenario. Hitting this level is very, very possible. Now, what about extension levels? Right, extension levels using the opposite. Let's kind of zoom in a little bit. Okay, now if we look at this swing high and this swing low, and we look for an extension to the upside to kind of see, let's be a little bit liberal about it because this is a channel. Look where we're at. We're looking at 1.27 right around here. Okay, let's use this, and the 1.618 right around here. Okay, so swing high to swing low, more or less, and looking for extension. This swing high and swing low is the same, both of these. Okay, so it doesn't really matter if you use this top and this bottom, or this top and this bottom. They're pretty much the same. Okay, I'm not going to nickel and dime for accuracy here, but what I do want to see is that, or make point of, the 1.27 is definitely here, and the extension level 1.618 is definitely around the zone. So let's get rid of this. These are good bullish price targets for sure to expect a reaction. 1.27, 1.618. Now, if we go back and we look at the Fibonacci, yeah, we have the 0.38 level right here. Guys, if you're into trading and you know what the 0.38 represents, even the 2.8 right here, the 0.28, the 0.28 and the 0.38 are really levels of indication of retracement. Healthy retracement. Breather, let's call it. It's not even a huge, it's not even a rally. It could be just a consolidation or a retracement to the upside, a healthy breather up to the 0.38, and then a continuation to the downside. Usually, when we break above the 0.38, that's when we get into healthy zones and expecting to get to the golden pocket 618. It happens a lot of the times where we get rejected right around here because of the confluence within extension levels from lower time frames and so on. This is the zone that I'm looking out for. Now, I would love to clean up this price action a little bit, but this volume gap got a little bit filled, so I don't even have a bit of faith into this volume gap. So I'm going to remove it, and actually what we're going to do is reuse these arrows that volume got so filled up, and I'm going to look at this level, which is important, and this level given the 1.618. Now we do have the previous highs here that could act as a rejection. Let's be clear about that. We know the previous high is usually a zone, and we got price action right here, we got lows right here, we got a lot to deal with, and there's a bit of a volume gap right into this area right at this level as well, so that we could expect reactions. Look at this zone. This zone is packed with information, packed with data, even all the way back from here, all the way back to the previous bull run where we were rallying up, and then the retracement, and then this consolidation, and all of this. So you know what, the previous high has a lot of work to be done to actually break above. So if we break above, we're looking at extension levels. That's the bullish case. And of course, the absolute bullish is once we break above here, we can get to the golden pocket 618 to about 50K, because really all we have is some choppy price action in between. We got a bit of a volume gap right here that starts at the 0.5 fib and pretty much ends as close as the golden pocket anyway, retracement. So what are we going to wait for? Guys, personally speaking, the way things are looking now with momentum, especially on the 4 days, what's more concerning to me? The daily looks great, right? It looks like it could continue. But are we in a phase right now where we should be looking into lower time frames? Let's do that. Let's get into lower time frames. Let's zoom in a little bit, because I know it's so messy when I zoom out like that. On the 4 hour, there's a bit of a story that we can tell. Look at the consolidation that we are in right now. Look at the momentum. It's very, very top heavy, extremely top heavy, to the point that we are slowly building a bit of divergence. Now, remember, divergences could be totally invalidated. We're creating higher highs on the price action at critical levels of resistance. We have the yellow line at previous top. This is the previous top. I'm going to make it a bit thicker so we can highlight its importance. Previous top, right around here. Okay, so this is what we have to watch out for, and this is the 1.27 and the 1.618 extension that we just kind of analyzed. Okay, so we're very close to a very important level of resistance while we're consolidating here in overbought conditions, creating a slight bearish divergence on these two tops, 1 and 2, higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI. So what does that mean, guys? Is this time to get into fresh longs? It's a bit dangerous. You got to admit, the time to go long was all the way down here where I was saying, look at the bullish divergence at horizontal support. Now we're getting into a zone where we're looking for bearish divergence with horizontal resistance. Now I know it's within a channel, and I know what people are going to be saying, but what about if we make a higher high? It's possible. That's why I would never exit my entire positions. I would always have some exposure for just in case that we actually get to higher levels. Okay, so this is important. Still keeping in tune with the bullish scenario that we could get to those extension levels. But let's entertain the idea of what about we get rejected here. It's important that you understand that right now, Bitcoin, if you got in here at this low, at this green, where I was suggesting that it was a great time, right now you're up about approximately 25%. That's a 25% pump on Bitcoin. I'm not talking about an altcoin. I'm talking about Bitcoin. That is a significant move for this heavyweight. And when you see Bitcoin up in double-digit gains the way it is, you have no choice but to start thinking about protecting yourself, because we could come back down. It's very, very possible. So we're getting the bearish divergence. Okay, it's clear. Multiple drives to the upside, and then lower highs on the RSI. Could we invalidate? The only way we invalidate this bearish divergence on the RSI is making a higher high on this RSI, which is higher than 83.5, or at least a double top. Okay, fine, I'll give it. Let's come back up to this level and see how we contend with the momentum and the price action. Then I'm getting bullish. Okay, and what about the MACD? The MACD is a totally different story. Look, we broke this little bit of a trend. You know, the momentum is still on the EMA, still trekking upwards, but as long as these clusters are smaller, as the price action continues moving up, we're getting class A bearish divergence also on the MACD. So I know right now we broke this bit of a trend. It's very clear, right? But as long as this cluster is, number one, smaller than this one, that would be a sign of negativity. But even if this cluster right now is smaller than this one, that is still class A bearish divergence, and especially if we come right back down and get rejected. So far, the volume, the momentum, everything about this pump is not showing me that there's a lot of conviction within the market participants. Look at the volume as it is going up. In fact, the volume is slightly coming down. Look at this impulsive move, quick rejection, and each impulsive move to the upside after that has been slightly smaller. Even though this one is pretty good, it's still slightly smaller. So what we really have to be careful with here is getting into a bull trap and getting into a scenario where a lot of people are going to get into a long, set a stop loss, slightly below or something like that, and then let this price come up, maybe DCA in, and then it starts bouncing around here, and then that you'll get trapped. That liquidity will get trapped and maybe come down eventually as people get bullish, come back down and get people wrecked. The reality is it happens all the time. We look for exit liquidity at all costs, at all times, and this is the time to actually say, look, is there a chance for me to become exit liquidity? Okay, so there is a chance that we come right back down and hit this level once again. Now, what about if you wanted to trade this in the long scenario? The best way to do it is to mitigate risk. Wait for the break, wait for the back test, and then get in on the back test and as a confirmation that we are creating some support and we can use this previous price action as support instead of a breakout exit, basically trying to break out on the exit, or basically build a position on the exit, which you can definitely anticipate a bit of a wick to the upside, or a quick move, a fast move up and then right back in, which is a quick liquidity grab or a sweep of the highs. In that case, you become exit liquidity, and that's horrible, a very horrible feeling. So wait for the break to the upside, back test, get that confirmation, and then start building a position. That way you can mitigate a bit of risk. That's very possible. And then at the ultimate scenario is, of course, what about if we come down? We'll start looking for range lows once again, if that's the case. The 4 hour is not giving it to me, guys. I don't feel comfortable getting into a fresh long based on the 4 hour. Okay, this is the thing. And when we got in here long, I was like, look, let's anticipate a pop to the upside. It definitely did exceed my expectations. I thought we were going to get rejected right around here at about 28,900 to about 30,000, give or take. That's where I thought, and we're exceeding expectations to the point that we're almost at breaking previous highs, guys. If we break previous highs, again, you're going to get into the daily and you're going to start looking at, look, where could we go? Extension levels, golden pockets, and that is a very, very strong indication to me that we're going to potentially get to this level and then maybe get a back test, and that would be the last hurrah. And unfortunately, not making a lower high will be, a scenario where we have no choice but to start deploying a bit of capital across the market. Because I don't know, guys, if we do get up to these levels, get a bit of a backtest to confirm this whole zone as support, that would probably be your last entry before we get into a bull run type of scenario, if that happens. Okay, guys, so of course, subscribe, click the bell so that you don't miss out on any of my notifications. As soon as I see any opportunities here in the Bitcoin price, I will definitely keep you posted. But be careful here, guys, because we're hitting a wall. This is a wall of resistance, and I'm not sure that we have enough volume, enough market participants to actually break out of this with some conviction. For me, it's a no trade zone. I would be waiting for a back testing confirmation. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor and slap that like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. And of course, if you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description. But guys, that Discord, go check out the Discord. It's a great community. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, learning opportunities, and all that good stuff. See you tonight. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.